Hey everybody, I wanted to share the ear model with you. So if we start on the outside, this is the auricle or the pinna. It's the part of our ear that's responsible for collecting the sound waves and sending them in. So this is the external ear made of skin and a little bit of elastic cartilage, which that's what these little white circles represent, is elastic cartilage. All of this would be fatty tissue. So once the sound waves make it here, then they travel through this external acoustic meatus. A meatus is just a hole through bone. This is the temporal bone. And the sound waves are going to travel through here and finally vibrate our eardrum or our tympanic membrane. The tympanic membrane is going to send the vibrations to these little bones in here that we can't see very well, but I'll take them out in a minute. And then after the bones vibrate, it transfers that vibration to the semicircular canals for balance and to the cochlea for hearing information. Let's zoom back out a little bit. So here's our external ear, and then the middle ear starts right here at the membrane, and it also contains this tube. This is a tube that connects our middle ear to our nasopharynx. That is like the back of your throat where it meets your nose. And normally this tube would be flat, but whenever we yawn or swallow, it opens up to be able to equalize the pressure. We always need the pressure on both sides of our tympanic membrane to be the same, or else the sound is distorted. So if you've ever been on an airplane and had the feeling of like your ears popping, what was happening is the tube trying to equalize the pressure. And this, I think, is meant to be a big artery. So here we are still in the temporal bone, and then let's take this out a little bit. So here is the tympanic membrane. It's very thin. It's thinner than that in real life. And then I'm going to try to take this part out, but it's a little broken, so it's going to fall apart. But here we have the tympanic membrane. And then this bone right here that's labeled number 1 is the malleus, number 2 is the incus, and then it's going to come over here and vibrate number 3, the stapes. And these little bones are called the auditory ossicles, and when they vibrate, they actually amplify the sound, so they're helping make it easier for us to hear it. Whoops. Once the stapes vibrates, it passes the vibration to kind of the bottom part right here, which is the vestibule or the entranceway to the semicircular canals. The semicircular canals are full of mechanoreceptors and fluid. So when the fluid moves, it basically triggers the mechanoreceptors and it sends information about balance to our brain. So notice that they go in all 3 planes, like X, Y, and Z, so we always have information about where we are. And then when we tilt our head, the fluid would change position, vibrating the hairs and sending that information to our brain. Down here, we'll reconnect our stapes again. There it is. So stapes vibrates, sends this information over here, sends other information over here to the cochlea. This is the organ that's responsible for hearing, and it also is full of fluid and mechanoreceptors that vibrate when we hear things. And this part of the model that fell off right there is the cochlear nerve, or the nerve that would be sending this information to the brain. So, in summary, we have our external ear, which is responsible for hearing. We have our middle ear, the eardrum and the auditory ossicles, which is also responsible for hearing. And then we have our inner ear that I basically took out the model, but it's hollowed in deep into our temporal bone, and that's responsible for both equilibrium and hearing.